Hello, SolarLune here, and my camera's off. That's weird. Camera is not working. Oh, it's off. That's why. I'll be right back. Okay. Hopefully the stream will just like seamlessly keep going with that like minor buffer for people who are watching it live. But yes, hello. Okay, I think it's working. Hello, SolarLune here. I'm an independent developer. I am the creator of MasterPlan, and yeah, things are going well for me. So how's everybody doing in the chat? Welcome. Yo to everybody who's watching. Let's see. Yeah, everyone's doing good. Everyone was jamming to the music. That's great. eBoat Wright says that he deleted Xcode to try to get a newer version, but was unable to. Basically, yeah, it sounds like you downloaded try to download a newer version of Xcode, but it doesn't support your current computer, and now you're kind of stuck. Understandable. It's a little bit of a problem dealing with dependencies and your development environment and things like that. Should be pretty simple to just install the original version, hopefully, because not being able to dev is not fun. And hello to Bundi in the chat. How's it going? So MasterPlan is what I'm working on today. And for those who are unaware, it is a project planning tool, mainly for game development, primarily because I'm a game developer. But it's also useful for other people who are doing other things as well. And so yeah, this is what we got here. If it's not really visible or if it doesn't look so good, please let me know. It should be solid, but can't hurt to let me know so I can fix it. But yeah, you can make different tasks and things like that. Different cards is what they're called now, I suppose. You can edit things right on the board, which is cool. Text is a little weird looking, but it's not so bad at distance. Up close is a little jank, but the software is still being worked on. Like I'm still working on it. Maps have been implemented. Now you can see which color is selected, like so, which is cool. And which pattern is selected, which is cool. So you don't have to guess anymore or remember. You can just do that. You can hold control to get a little eyedropper now, so you can select things freely, like so. That's cool. Yeah. Cool. So what we're going to do this time around, I was thinking about it a little bit just a few minutes ago, and I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to fix an issue with the flood fill. I'd like to add shortcuts for the map, and I'd like to try to implement the numbering system. Now, the numbering system that used to exist in MasterPlan worked pretty well. That is where basically you can do something like that, right? So you place a task below another one, and it just automatically gets numbered. And the indentation controls, what the number is. So that's cool. It works well. But in the new master plan, you're directly controlling the text, like you're typing things in directly. And so I'm not sure if manually adding the numbers will really work behind the scenes, because you could backspace, you could delete those numbers because it's just going to be a text box. So what I might end up doing that's a little bit different compared to the existing numbering system is to have a little bubble that's at this kind of area of the task or of the card with a number in it. And then that number, that is this part of the number in the original master plan or the old master plan. But in the new one, it'll be in a little bubble. That way we don't have to worry about accidentally backspacing or anything like that. But we can still have it visible on the card. Gotta stay hydrated. What's good, says Smash Battle. It's nothing much. It's going well, yeah. Everything's going pretty solid. So that's what we're probably going to end up doing, or that's what I think I'm going to end up doing to kind of get it working. But yeah, that's the plan for today, which is good. So first, there was an issue with flood fills. Let me get some music going here before I forget. Before I five get. It's not a good joke. Let's see. Is this gonna be too loud? It might be a little too loud. Let me bump it down a little bit. Okay, that's better. Let me now choose a... No. Nope. Nope. That does... That's a classic, but... Let's go with this one. This one's chill. This one's chill. Let's go with this. Alright, so, yeah, I'm not sure, there's a little bit of a, I don't know if I would call it a bug, but if you, for example, like, I drop empty space, you can draw it. I'm not sure if that's good or not. Like, partially it's not because this disappears. Like, the check marks disappear. Or this check mark specifically disappears, but at the same time, it's not a big deal, I guess. Yeah, that's not a huge deal. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's an issue with flood. Yeah, there we go. I gotta figure out like an easy way to kind of reproduce it, but that's something that's definitely not working correctly. What's up? What's up to everybody in chat again? Rashad Z says, what's up? Hello. Lucretia says, on SoundCloud. This is not on SoundCloud. I gotta add it. I don't think this is the finished version though, so I'll have to do that later, I suppose. Let me put that on the to-do list here. I don't know why I typed it like that. Let me add this to SoundCloud. Okay, so anyway, so I'll try to do that when I can. Oh, right, but in answer to your question, Rashad Z and Smash Battle, nothing much. Everything's going pretty well. So, I think the issue comes in when you stretch it out, fill, make it smaller, unfill. Yeah, so we stretched it out, filled. So at this point, what should it be doing? So we stretched it out, filled. So when we undo it, yeah, something's up with this. Stretch it out, fill. So stretch, fill, undo. It's only undoing this area. Okay. We will figure this out. We will jump into the undo system. And we will uncomment this debug stuff. We don't. Let me put this into a different document. There we go. Lucretia says, why is undo such a struggle? Isn't it just a stack of options or actions? Well, you know, that's an interesting observation. it would be good if it were a stack of actions, but I didn't want to actually implement true undo, where it's basically like I think the right way to do an undo system, I never did it this way, but I think the right way is to basically make it so that when you're basically navigating through the program, you're clicking, you're pressing key combinations and stuff. Internally, that's running functions, and then the undo or redo is just basically storing those functions, so that when you undo it, undo the functions that were performed, or redo performs those functions. So for example, when you create a task, that creates a task or a card in this case. Then when you edit the text, that's doing the functions to edit the text. Now, what I did instead, because I didn't want to have to make an entire other system, I just am storing the state of the board, basically. So rather than storing the functions to make the task what it is, I'm storing the current state of the task. That works well, in my opinion. It's not perfect, but the upside is that I don't really have that much additional code. It's just basically a stack of serialized tasks, serialized cards. And so I think that's a better approach, because basically this way I can reuse the saving and loading code that I already have to save and load a task, or save a set of tasks from a project to a file and load it from the file into the actual application. I can just use that, but in the context of a undo stack. So it works differently, but the upside is there's not a lot of extra code. It's just basically this undo system and triggering the undo when something changes. I think the problem that we're having here is that when we resize it and then fill, the undo isn't triggering correctly. I'm not sure where exactly it's falling apart, but we can see here basically, I kind of messed it up, hold on. Okay, so we have one state here where it's a map card. We have the contents here, it's all empty. If we, well, that's not great, but yeah, so it's the contents is all empty. We resize it. Okay, well, this is probably part of the problem. The contents are still the same size. The content list is still the same size. So when we fill it, yeah, now the content list is bigger, but when we undo it, it's still undoing to this where the contents list is the same size. All right, so that's the problem. So at some point when we're, actually, hold on. There's someone else in another room. I'll be right back, hold on. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so I think the core problem here is that basically we're not making the undo, we're not updating the contents correctly or at the right time. So let's go ahead and look into that. We're going to oh wait, hold on. Okay, so here we receive the message that the resize is completed. We create the undo state at the end of the draw function for the card, as I recall. That's correct. So the card the contents, the map contents, should definitely have enough time to basically resize as necessary. So let's see what's going on there. Recreate texture, no. Don't really need all this. Receive message. Okay, so undo, resize completed, deserialize. Hold up. There's Streamer issues. Yeah, streamer issues. Trying to stream and like keep track of your environment. After that Crystal Lang tweet you made a couple of weeks ago, I've been obsessed with that language, says Lucretius. I can't wait until it's ready for Windows so I can make some portable Godot bindings. Yeah, like I found it like a couple years ago and I was like, dude, this is sick. Like this is kind of like a sick dynamic language that has like, it's class based and, you know, it's kind of simple, but it's kind of like Ruby, but it's also compiled. Like it's kind of like, you know, hitting the middle line of a lot of different languages. But there's no Windows support. And it was so like it was weird. It's like, why, how do you not have Windows support? And they still don't have like fundamental Windows support. I think it works in Windows on Linux or the Linux subsystem, but I mean like, I think you can make games with it, so it might have application for game development. You know, you can make it will run on Windows, but I'm not sure. It would just be nice if they had like first class Windows support, mainly just because I'm using Linux here. I don't really mind Windows, you know, from a usability standpoint, but more so for deployment. Yeah, that's the next thing. They have super cumbersome cross-compiling. Yeah, it would be nice if they kind of got that squared away. It's so close. It's so close. Boris Mulder says, do I see a pointer? Is this C? No, it's not C. This is, it is a pointer. This is a pointer, or I guess a function that is activated on a pointer, but this is Golang. So I think the core problem here is once we resize, we're deserializing the map data into here. We recreate the texture, we update the texture, but we never actually recreate the content size, do we? We do it here. Okay, recreate texture, resize. Do we ever use width and height? We do. Okay, width, height. Okay, resize. That's being done. All right, let me just do this real quick. Resize. This is interesting. So the resize is triggering and is definitely getting bigger. Yeah, it's definitely getting bigger, but the undo frame generated is not correct. Is that because we're not storing it? That is because we're not storing it. Actually, it would probably be like MD. Let's see that. Yeah, okay. Properties. Set raw. So we get if changed, update texture. All right, so this is, I think, really the problem here. What we want to do when undoing or redoing, we want to basically deserialize the map data, as, or the property into the map data. That's fine. When resizing, or undo and redo, it's not working correctly. So this is fundamentally not working correctly. Lucretia says, I'm the same. I'm a Mac guy, and I really only want Windows for consumers. Same boat. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, I'm very happy with Linux overall. It just would be nice to have Windows support for Crystal, just for deployment purposes. So we're deserializing the property, which is this, the contents, into map data. When we recreate texture, let me split this. When we recreate texture, we are resizing, but the property isn't being set. Okay, so then we need this. Okay, so we just need to basically sync these up. Something like that should work. Yeah, I think that should work. This is probably hacky, but let's see if it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, it doesn't work. Where, why doesn't it work? Let's see. So we have 4 frames here. We got this frame where it moves, this frame where it's bigger, and the contents are all, yeah. So when you undo, it goes to here, and this should have empty contents. We're deserializing the contents. Serialize data contents. Oh. Wait, when do we call undo redo? Where do we even use this? Under contents? Under undo? New message. Deserialize. So it deserializes the card first. Then we receive message on the card that it's been. Yeah, okay, that works. So XY, recreate width and height should be set. Deserialize the properties. Okay, let's see. I feel like I'm on the right track though. Eboat says, I don't think it's the undo system that's messing it up. I think it's a problem with your map system. The map contents aren't growing to the correct size in your output. Well, I don't. Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, this is. Well, here's the thing, because this is the undo and redo system. Yeah, should be pretty solid. So we're on this state here, where the contents are all full. When we undo, we should be on this state, but for some reason, it's only applying it. I think the issue. I think you're right, actually, is that the map data isn't being resized fundamentally. When do we call map data.resize? We call it in 2 places. Once when deserializing. That might be part of the problem then. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Did I put that there? I mean, I know I put that there, but when did I put that there? Let's try not putting that there. Okay. Okay, that's very solid. That's exactly what it should be doing. Yeah. So that's the kind of the downside of this system, is that it's not like, it's a little finicky, because it's like the undo system is kind of separated from how you use the program. So you can do something, it worked fine, and then you undo it and it doesn't undo the same as when you put it through. But the upside is we can use that because we might not want to have everything be undoable in discrete exactly as you did it. Like, for example, maybe we want it so that when you're typing, undoing doesn't work one character at a time, like currently it does. We might say, well, let's not do that. Let's make it so that it only creates an undo state when you leave the undo, when you leave the text box, which seems logical. We can easily do that because it's not tied to functions. It's not tied to like a direct one-to-one. Well, I don't know. I think this way of doing things is fine. It's not perfect, but it's fine. Hopefully I don't need that. Hopefully I don't need this. I'm gonna comment this out and say this was causing problems with undoing a map after altering the its size. Rashad Z says, off-topic question, but what made you choose Linux as your OS of choice? I think I mentioned this before in like the 3 years that I've been streaming, but like I had a Windows computer. The Windows is on this computer as well. I'm dual booting when I need to boot into Windows, which now is just when I want to play a Windows specific game, which is not very many. It's not very many at all. Like Monster Hunter World works on Linux. You know, Hollow Knight is native. Guilty Gear works on Linux. So I mean, like, you know, I'm not really like super booting into Windows all the time, but there was a time where I had Windows specifically only, and something happened to my hard drive, I think, or my motherboard, and I had to replace it. So I was like, okay, well, dang, you know, something happened to my hard drive, my motherboard, I have to replace it. I think it was my motherboard. So I went ahead and replaced my motherboard. Still had the same hard drive and the other components, but when I booted into Windows, it basically said, no, this it's a different computer. Essentially, you have to buy another copy of Windows, and I was just completely like outdone. I was like, how dare you deactivate the copy of Windows that came with my computer? And you know, I have the same hard drive. It has Windows, you know, on the boot sector. Everything's, you know, the same as it was. I just had to replace the motherboard. But when I booted it into Windows, it said I needed to replace my license, and I was like, you know what? I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. That, you know, you could not even due to an update, but just due to something that happens on your local machine, Windows will just be like, yeah, I'm not starting, because like your hardware is different. So after that, I was like, let me just go full-time Linux. And I jumped into, I don't know, it might have been Solus. It could have been Solus at the time. I don't remember if it was Solus or Ubuntu. But I jumped into it, and it's good. It's, you know, it's not perfect. There's still hardware issues, you know, now and then, that you know, it takes some Googling to figure out like, oh, what's going on? Why is this happening? But you know, you can get to the bottom of it and get it squared away. This USB, and even then, it's pretty rare that I actually have like strong hardware issues. The only hardware issues I really have are this USB DAC, which is a digital audio converter. It's this little box that has my headphones plugged in. That was kind of problematic, but I got that squared away. And then Bluetooth is like a little finicky. It works fine, but sometimes I'm not even sure if it's the Bluetooth drivers or the Bluetooth dongle. I'm not sure. I have to figure out what's going on there. Like, it works, but sometimes I have to repair my controller multiple times, and I'm not sure if it's because of the controller or the dongle, because the dongle's kind of cheap. I don't know. The dongle's really cheap, actually. Anyway, we figured this out. That's the most important thing. All right, so we're gonna commit these changes here. Let me make this a little bigger. I feel like it's probably too small. There we go. For everybody. Wait, what was that? Where's that document? Here we go. Pakfu Mejia says, "Hey brother, hope you're doing great." Thank you, I am. How are you doing, and how's everything going with everybody over there, wherever you are? Hopefully well. Hopefully. Rachazi says, I personally use Windows for app compatibility like Photoshop or Unity, but I do like the concept of Linux and the reliance of FOSS or independently made software that Windows somewhat lacks. Yeah, I mean, like, if you use something heavy Windows, if you're a heavy Windows user, then it's just like, you know, like if you use Adobe stuff, there's not a lot you can do. I don't think, I'm not sure about Adobe running in Linux. I just haven't looked into it because I'm outside of that ecosystem. But you got Krita, you got GIMP. You know, that's fine for most stuff, for most applications. Blender, of course, is fantastic for 3D or 2D animation. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you can get around the need for Windows, then you can have a very, very good day. Eboat says, this is going to start a war, but what Linux do you use? I used to use Pop! OS, but actually this is Manjaro. This is Manjaro Linux. It's good. Thumbs up. I mean, like, that's the cool thing about Linux is just like you when you use it, you know, you might have to be like, oh, well, how do I, you know, what am I, like, you know, how is it gonna work, or how smooth is, you know, like, you might have to kind of figure out how to set it up a little bit more than Windows. But even then, it's not even to that degree. I feel like Windows is still going to ask you to, like, you know, maybe partition your drive or format it or whatever. But yeah, I like Manjaro. I like it. It's good. It's good. You can go to the repository, the software repository, and get a whole bunch of software, which is great. I'm careful. Be careful, so that you don't just install like everything. But you know, you have a lot of options in there. Manjaro is well supported. It's well you know, used. It's great. Let's see, adding visualization of which color and pattern is selected. Okay, that's correct. Wait, did I did, okay. No. Okay. Adding ability to wait, let me see this real quick. What's the... Did I say control? Is it control? It is control. Okay, what is it in Sprite? Is it all? It is all. Okay, so let's make it all. So there's some consistency there. I mean, you can change it later, but it just feels like, you know, might as well make it the same as something else that I use. Shortcuts. Rashad Z says the only Linux distros I've used is Android, Debian for Raspberry, a janky version of Manjaro, and Chrome OS. Okay, so yeah, I would definitely. Okay, this does seem to be working. Yo, hold up. Give me a second. I'm gonna see if I can get this. I never noticed, but Mario has a little bit of a mullet. He kind of has a mullet kind of thing going on. Let me finish it off. I'm like halfway, like, okay, that's done. The joke is done, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Let me finish this off. Also, I never noticed how like kind of jank his arm is. I think his head is, yeah, his head's like further back in my version. Oh well. There's only so much I can do. I ain't perfect. All right. And then it just goes like yeah, that's basically it. That was fun. Now that I've wasted enough time, yes, it's indeed a Mario. That's crazy how near accurate it is. I was looking at something off screen. I was looking at this right off screen. That's crazy. There's no, I'm looking, I didn't do this off, no, of course I'm not doing this off of memory. There's no way. There's no way anyone could do it off of memory. But hey, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna save that because I don't know. This is a good test. Yeah, so there's still a couple things we need. It would be nice to have a tool so we can, like, for example, move cells over or something like that. Wait, I wonder if we could, what if we were to add some shading? Yo, this actually is kind of working like pretty well. I'm kind of surprised. All right. That's stupid, but that's interesting. Let's save this. All right, cool. Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to, oh yeah, finish doing this. That's right. I got distracted. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Is just like just super off Mario. But yeah, that was fun. It'd be interesting to see somebody make some kind of like absurdly complicated piece of art with it, with like a limited palette and this little, you know, this tool that's not really made for it. It would be just kind of interesting to see somebody do something like that. Let's see, color value is that, okay, so index color, okay, so adding, yeah, fix. Let's see, event log. So it's really important when you're programming. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows this, but yeah, it's important when you're programming to, like, you know, do solid documentation on your source when you're like committing stuff, especially if you plan to go back. It's you know, kind of one of those things where it's easy to fall into the habit of just being like, you know, what does it matter? Who cares? But then you easily get into a situation where you need to roll back and you're like, man, I don't remember where I like implemented this feature or added this function or whatever. It can be helpful to just make notes like this. Eboat says, sort of like people using Aseprite as a game engine, kind of like that. If someone was able to do that, like just a gross misuse of the tools. I guess you kind of couldn't you? Because Aseprite has the ability to load Lua scripts. So if there's a script that allows you to run or edit a canvas every frame, like 60 times a second, then that would be a game engine. You could as long as you could like take input from the keyboard and display stuff to the screen, it's kind of like a game engine. That's crazy. That's kind of insane. That's really insane. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm wondering how you could, like, what you could do with it. Eboat says, I have a Go and Ebiton game engine on GitHub. Oh, great. Yeah, I think Ebiton's a great tool, framework. Highly recommend it. Someone else suggested gdevelop. I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I looked a little bit into it. And I was like, oh, this is, it kind of came along since the last time I checked it out. Okay, there's some stuff I need to fix here. Hold on. So we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore, I don't think. Yeah. Do I actually use this feature? And that's also a good thing to do when you're writing up your source documentation, your staging documentation. If you look through the files, you can see stuff where you forgot to like take out comments or forgot to take out features that you didn't end up going with. Something that I just saw was container.highlighters. I'm not sure if I actually am using that. Add highlighter. Do I actually call this anywhere? I do not. So yeah, I don't need this. There we go. Better. Yeah. Key bindings, okay. Main. We don't need to do this anymore. I guess we don't need to do this anymore. This is for profiling the CPU when I do something bad. We don't need to do that anymore because we shouldn't be profiling the CPU. Well, I think it's fine. Event log, okay. Cool. Yeah, message, done. Page, we don't really do anything here. Properties. Hard undo. Okay. Rashad Z says, I don't know if it's possible, but can the consoles like Wii and OG Xbox run C# code? I know that what has been commonly documented is that they mainly use C++, and they go way over my head. I don't know. I would imagine probably not, because I feel like C#, the rise of C# was after the advent of Wii and OG Xbox. But if you were to install a homebrew application, the ability to, run homebrew applications on your Wii or OG Xbox, there might be a way to compile or transpile C# code to the necessary targets for Wii and OG Xbox. I don't know, basically. It could be that in other words, it could be that you can write something in C# and either compile it to an OG Xbox homebrew, or transpile it to something that can compile to OG Xbox, like C or C Sharp, C++. I don't know. You'll have to look into it. Let's see. All right, so we are basically done with this. We are not basically done with this. I have to go back and... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Is there any... Got it. Okay. Okay. E-boat right. Yes. you tagged me. Is there something supposed to be here? I can't see it. All right, so I'm gonna go off grid, off script here, and say, what's your favorite food? I'm not a picky person. I'm the kind of person who eats essentially everything. I'm not the kind of person who leaves food on his plate if it can be helped. I'm not gonna like eat to busting or bursting or anything like that, but like I do not believe in like leaving food because it's like, oh, I don't like that part of the food. It's like you better eat it. You better eat it. It's kind of important. I don't know. I don't. My parents like that aren't the. They didn't raise me to just be like, oh yeah, eat everything on your plate. But I adopt that. I feel like it's rather important that you don't waste food. Either eat it later or eat it now. I mean, I guess it's not like you have to, or you will explode if you don't, or anything like that. But I don't know. Try to not waste food. But yeah, I don't really have any favorite foods. I'm just kind of okay. Yeah, okay, we're good. I don't have any favorite foods. I'm just kind of always down to eat something good. Yeah. All right. So where's that document? Okay, so we fixed the flood map issue. Shortcuts for map. So what I'm gonna do? So I'm thinking maybe Q for Q E R. Oh, whoops. Q E R F V. Yeah, it could be something like that. Let's try that. Also, the line tool needs to be visualized. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on those bindings. Okay, yeah. Let me actually take a look here. Message and go through, check out Dark Work on Twitter. Okay, I pulled him up. I'll have to check him out later. All right, so we got pick, or I guess it's just no tool. Pencil tool. He's the guy that used Aseprite as a game engine. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that you were serious. That's bananas. Fill tool. Line tool. All right, so we got the palette. We got the line tool, we got the fill tool. We got the eraser, pencil, no tool. Okay. Or I guess pointer. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're gonna put these down here. No tool is gonna be Q. Pencil tool. E. Eraser tool. Line tool. V. Palette. Tab. Okay. So let's go with something like that. That might work pretty okay. Then we go back to contents. We should be able to kind of like get it working. Let's see. I guess we'll just do it here. We'll say if globals.key bindings on tool none. Okay. Pencil. All right. Eraser. Line. Actually, it's fill. Palette. Got Go working again, never deleting Xcode again. That's good. Glad to hear it. Fantastic. Sometimes, like, programming can be one of those things where it's like, you would think it to be really logical and like easy, but somehow, sometimes you'll be like, okay, I'm doing something, it's not working. You do something to try to fix it, and it all gets broken. So you undo what you did, and it's still broken. Like you'll do something, and it's like, okay, this isn't working, and then you'll do the exact same thing after trying a variety of other things that didn't work, and it will work then, or vice versa. And it's like, how am I not seeing how this is working? It's just, that's part of the charm. Okay, so it is that simple. All right, we can just bonk. All right, let's try that. Lucretia says, I'm going to join the efforts to port Crystal to Windows. I have to, and it looks pretty simple. Just lots of work. It's literally writing APIs with Windows C++ API. I do that for work. Really? That's good on, yeah, congratulations. That's fantastic. There we go. Okay, this is working. Cool. That works. Let's say why is this not? Yeah, there's no such. I don't know. Yeah, that's great. Like that's if you could Lucretius, that'd be fantastic. Because that would just really open up the options. I swear this color is not this color. Like the way it just kind of looks. No, I guess they're the same. Never mind. Okay. So cool. That's good. Maybe, I mean, I'll help maybe a couple PRs if possible, but hopefully move along just slightly faster. Yeah. That'd be great. Yeah, little to no packaging to native applications for Ruby. Same kind of problem with Python. Like, there's not really any easy way to do that, to like package Python programs. As far as I could tell, they've made some progress on that, I believe, but nothing like really game changing. Where it's like, oh yeah, you just have this application or you run this program, this you know, package or whatever, this function from this package, and that will go ahead and like compress your application and contain it. Like I know that there's like freeze and stuff like that, but I don't know if they're all cross-platform, or if there is a cross-platform like official, this is how you do it. It works on Windows, Mac, and Linux kind of solution. What was the first language other than visual scripting you used for game development? The first one I would say I really kind of learned and worked with extensively was Python with the Blender game engine. So that was 15 years ago. You can find me on Blender, my posts on Blender Artists. Like I was pretty heavy in the community. Yeah, Python. Yeah, Lucretius was there too. That takes me back. But yeah, Python with Blender was a lot of fun to work with. It's crazy because the BGE was like, I don't know, man, maybe like 15% away, 20% away from being just like a banger game engine. Like it was missing just a few functions, in my opinion, to like really get there. It was missing, well, I mean, it was missing a variety of things, but in terms of like the things that kind of felt to me like, oh yeah, the performance is poor because of this. It was missing like batching, static batching of objects. It was so close. It was close. But now, I mean, you got Godot, now you got Unity, now you got Unreal, now you have that's kind of it really for 3D stuff. You don't really have that many other options. But yeah, you have, I guess, like, you got a couple other options, but hopefully they'll kind of come around, because there's a couple of engines that I've been keeping an eye on. They're not there yet from my usage, but like Flax engine was like super big. Well, no, Flax is like getting bigger rather, but it's still not there. Like it doesn't work on Linux for me, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm spacing out. Let me get back to work. Yeah, the BGE was cool because it was unlike any other engine, and still is unlike any other engine in terms of just core ability to get in there. I guess actually the closest engine that's kind of similar would be Megazeus or other fantasy consoles like that, like Pico 8. Something where you make the game in the same thing you play the game in. That's kind of the closest analog that the BGE has. Megazeus is, I think, probably the strongest like example of that. There's no means to make music in Megazeus, but the actual like game you can make largely within the program, which is cool. Godot 3D performance is all over the place. One day I open up the engine and everything's at 144 FPS. Next it's 30, no changes. Yeah, it could be graphics driver related if you're not doing updates to Godot. But I do know that Godot's 3D is like, I've heard that it's not like great, but I don't really think it's bad. I just didn't get that far in it myself. Like if I was to make, I would love to have a 3D game framework. That is like, I would, if I could get something in Go that did 3D and export it to Windows, Mac, and Linux, and maybe web, and maybe mobile, I would, bruh. Okay, so this is working. Anyway, the key bindings are working. We're good. We can quit. Godot's 3D is good. It's just not insane like Unity's or Unreal's. Yeah. Like I'm hearing good things about, or seeing good things. Well, hearing good things. Because I haven't looked at the results yet, but I'm hearing good things about Godot 4, which is great. Hopefully it'll come around pretty soon. 3.2.3 to 3.3.2, same issue. Yeah. I think that, yeah, updating big engines like Godot, Unity, Unreal tends to have problems, I think. Liam says, what sort of functionality do you mean by framework in this case for 3D? For my purposes, dang, I would have to say I would go for the bare minimum for me for a game framework for me. Again, this is just for me. And for me to being like super, what's the word? Optimistic. Something like Raylib, where it allows you to draw 3D objects, animate 3D objects. That's kind of it. Like a camera, the ability to draw 3D objects, checking input, playing sounds. That's kind of it. It'd be nice if it had physics or 3D intersection checking, but I mean, you can make that yourself. One could make that oneself. It'd be nice if they had advanced shaders, but just the ability to apply a shader. Like it would be cool if they had like lights and shaders and stuff like that. But if they even just had the ability to apply your own shader, the ability to load meshes from like OBJ or DAE or G3D or G3J for that matter. Just kind of like the basic stuff, like not even looking at lighting, not even looking at like, built-in shaders, built-in screen shaders, but like just, can I render it from a camera to a texture from a camera of 3D objects? Can I animate those objects? And that's kind of it. If I had that, I would love to mess around and make some 3D stuff. I think that, because I feel like, when you look at a lot of games, of the time, like, Mario 64 or, other game engines, pretty much pre-PS2 era, or even PS2 era with included, they didn't really have advanced physics. Like, I'm thinking, I know I've seen, like, the Havoc physics, logo on a PS2 game. I feel like I've seen that, or maybe PS3, but I don't imagine platformers really had that. So I don't know. I feel like you can probably make a cool 3D game without a lot of like additional stuff. Just in code. I feel like that would be. I'd like to give it a shot. Anyway, let me finish this up. Adding key bindings for map tool usage for map. Okay. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is we need to visualize the line tools. Godot's input is great, way better hands down. Unity 2D versus Godot 3D, or Godot 2D, yeah. I've never used Unity, so I have nothing to compare it against. Like I can only talk about Godot line tool, that's right. Okay. I can only talk about Godot basically. Wait. Contents. I can only talk about Godot by itself. I can't talk about it in comparison to other tools. I just realized that we never changed the music. Okay, so this is always kind of a weird thing where it's like you have something working and you basically need to duplicate that code in the draw function because you need to draw what you're doing in the update loop. Well, it's not. I guess that's actually not true. A lot of this isn't going to be here. This is going to be in the update loop. I do like Godot a lot, but I feel like it's like I do like Godot, but I feel like Godot's kind of not overhyped. I think it needs to be more hyped, but I kind of feel like it's over designed in some ways. I feel like there's there's parts that are extraneous that could be removed. I feel like that's my general feeling. Is just like it's a little bit too much. The animation system is fantastic. Like that's great, but that's kind of like the only thing about Godot that is like you have to use it. That's well, I shouldn't say it like that, but rather that's the thing I would definitely recommend people to use. Like the animation system is like so good. But at the same time, like if I were to make a game without Godot, I needed animation systems, I would probably just I needed that system. I would try to make that system, and that's what I'm thinking about. Because I'm thinking about making a game with Ebiton, without any visual world editor and stuff. And it's like, okay, for the levels you can use tiled, you can use LDTK. But then how do you make cinematics? How do you make that kind of a thing? And so I'm thinking about making my own animation system, editor, where you can make cutscenes, where you can do some basic cinematics and stuff. And that's kind of the missing part of a game, because everything else you can kind of do with any framework. But that's kind of how do you approach that problem? I think that would be kind of cool, because that way, if you're making a game with Ebiton or any other framework, that's kind of what you're missing. Most people are missing that. All right, let's see. NG got down. Okay, so we don't care about fill. We don't care about We do care about end actually. GP, where's that at? It's here. Okay. Line start is start. Do we use end anywhere? We do not. Okay, so we can just use GP. Don't need that. Don't need this. Okay. Is there? Okay. Okay, so here's where we're gonna do this. We're gonna say, you know what? Let's just do it like this. Okay, there we go. Didn't I have a? I don't have a draw rectangle function. Fill rect. All right, I guess I don't. Draw rect expanded. Yeah, I guess I don't. Okay. So we can go with this, I guess. That's what we'll do. We'll just put this over here. Thickness is in 32. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll just bump, bump, bump. There we go. Let's see. Oh, these are in 32s too. Okay. Alright, there we go, and then we go back to this. Can we get np.x, np.y, np. Okay. Raylib and monogame, yeah, language with no frameworks. Yeah, so I'm just reading the chat here. Interesting discussion, yeah. Yeah, I feel like... Alright, so it is working, cool. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we didn't, like, break anything. Alright, now we just need to actually get this to work. Where we say draw a line, or draw a thick. It needs to be line start is the coordinates, right? Yeah, okay. So we need to untranslate it, I think. All right. That might work. Let's see. All right, so it's not working. I have a theory. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Let's try that. All right, all right, all right. That's done. Kind of there. I'm just gonna copy this, I guess, to make it easy. Make it easy on me. What am I? Hold on, what am I doing differently here? Oh, okay. Card. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try that. Let's see. I think what we need to do is maybe something like this, like this, like this. No, why is it? Where's the? I feel like this definitely should be working. Oh, it's because it's already, yeah, okay, that's what the issue is. So we just want to do x times. We don't need to floor it or anything. These are already float 32s. There we go. Interesting, but yeah, that's not what we want. Let's see. So I guess what we do want this. We just don't want this part, I guess. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, so it's working. It's not perfect though. Yeah, it's not perfect. Maybe we need to round it off. Okay, so this is working rather well. One thing we want to do is basically if we say if nc.resizing. I guess we don't actually have to do it that way. We can do it rather like this. We don't have to do it that way, actually. We could do it a better way. Oh, okay. I see what the issue is. This is an actual bug. All right, let's see. Let's do this. All right, so this should kind of give us what we need to, what we're looking for. Oh, it's got to be greater than or equal to 0. Oops. Okay, that works pretty well. Yo, Mario doesn't load. What a bummer. Where he at? Where the boy at? Let's see, does it actually have the data? Yes, okay. Okay, so if it does have the data, then why would the map not load? If the shape is there. William says, eventually MasterPlan will have its own built-in Photoshop and a tracker for testing music ideas with a custom built-in modular synth and sampler. What if it did, though? Oh, yeah, what if it did? What if it did? Alright, so it's never getting, deserialized is never getting called on the map data, so that's probably indicative of some kind of problem. Let's see. Get. Okay, so this is probably part of the problem. Well, this isn't part of the problem, but this is not helping. Let's see. Probably the code we commented out at the beginning. I don't think so. I don't think it's the code that we commented out at the beginning, because the size is correct, but rather it's not loading in the data. The data is there in the file. It's just not being pushed into the map data. So I think what we need to do is create a message that gets called when the card is when we call deserialize on the card. It deserializes the properties, then it sets the contents. Okay, so I think it's actually pretty much just like, hey, if contents exists, I guess we could just say that's string. Then we do this. Otherwise we do this. I think that should work. Also, I'm not a god to Lucretius. I am self-taught though, but no, I'm not a god. I simply have been doing this for a while. So I think that was just an issue where it wasn't syncing up. Is that what the problem was? All right, we're getting a crash. That's definitely better. Index out of range 12 with length 12. Okay. It's because we can't deserialize because the map data doesn't have the right size. Now this is, yeah, this is where this would be. Okay. That is, now it matters. But I guess we can just do like something like this. Cause we already did call, where's the card at? Because we're already calling deserialize on the properties. We're recreating the card so it has the right width and height. Then we're deserializing the properties. Then we're setting the contents. So it creates the contents. Pardon me. Yeah, it's small. So resize is getting called. I keep doing that. Yeah, resize is getting called. So let me see what's the size that's getting passed. $12 by 20. That's right. Okay, so then if the size is actually correct, then what's the problem? I guess it could be, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not related to this at all. Because the data is being loaded in. Okay. $12. Okay, so if it's like that, is that the issue? Okay. I think I know why this is happening, but hold on. Okay, that was part of it. It should be equal. Alright, that's definitely part of it. Resize. So create new map. contents, recreate texture. Can we keep this down here? Why is data empty? How the heck did that happen? Okay. Let's try that. There we go. All right. Definitely working better. This should only happen if all right, let's try something like that. The issue that I'm running into right now, or what I'm trying to solve right now, is a small bug where... Excuse me, a small bug where... hold on. Oh. Oh, I guess it's not that big of a deal. Never mind. No, it kind of is. Oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, I'm in the middle of trying to solve this issue. Music Boy J Boy says hello, hello. I'm in the middle of trying to solve this issue where basically essentially the problem is that cards exist in a selection. Well, maybe I don't even need to do this way. Let me see. Like, the core problem here is that if you have two maps and you have them both selected, the option to open the palette works on both of them. really they should share a single menu, but really only one should open the palette. How do we determine which one to open? I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I have to get going actually, but yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do about this later. My solution was going to be basically tell which card is first, essentially, which one was selected first in the selection of the page. You know, like basically you select cards and it's like, okay, this is the first one, this is the second one, this is the third one, whatever, or this is the first and second one, then you click this one, now this is the first, this is the second, this is the third. But we don't do that. We can't do that because I'm using a map which isn't sorted. It doesn't maintain its order, and I don't want to make an entire slice just for this one feature. This doesn't make sense. So for now, we'll just do something like this. Let's try that. So now tab doesn't open unless you have just one selected. If you have two selected, it doesn't work. You can probably see the issue here where you can trigger this stuff. On either one, we want to probably fix that by saying mc.card.page.selection.clear, mc.card.page, add, something like that. Okay, so it just doesn't do that. All right, let's try that. Yeah. That's fine. I think that's probably, it's probably an acceptable solution for now. Music Boy J Boy says I'm gonna go and try to finish the song I've been working on. See ya. Thanks for coming through. Well appreciated. I guess this works. I'm trying to see. I guess this all works well enough. The line doesn't quite work right because you can't let go outside of the bounds of the map. Which is a little annoying. So I guess what we'll do is return a bool indicating basically it returned true if it was able to set the value there. Okay, so setting it. So we say basically set return equals this, and then we basically say or set return, not set return. Not sure how that would actually help though. Yeah, it doesn't help. Oh, because GP. Let me see, hold on. Set prims says, is MasterPlan 0.8 out for Steam betas yet? No, not yet. I know I said I was trying to get it done by some timeline, but I didn't stick to it. It's still under development, but it's going really well. It's like shaping up. Like it's really cool looking. It feels solid. Everything is basically improved compared to the previous version. So, for example, you know, here's the map tool. So I mean, like there's a lot done. It's just not done enough. It still needs some more time in the oven. Oh, it's because the mouse isn't inside the rectangle. Okay. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna do here. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. I see what I need to do. Oh, whoops. I forgot to answer this. Liam says, sorry for distracting you, but how do you create your instruments for your tracks like the one playing now? This one... I'm pretty sure for these, I just use synths. So this is Surge, the Surge synth, as I recall. The do 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 do. That is a oboe. It's a woodwind. Do, do. Yeah, and then the synth in the, I believe it's an oboe or a woodwind of some description. And then you got the little like light synth in the background. That little bit, That's a synth. I think that's the Surge. So like I use Surge sometimes. I might create them using Adventure Kid waveforms. They're just simple single cycle waveforms that you can use for your songs. There's a lot of ways to make instruments. There's not really a straightforward way to make, like, there's a lot of options. My brain is dying, so I'm going to go home. I am home, but I'm going to leave. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. It's been fun. Thanks a lot for stopping by. It's always fun to have people talking in chat. And yeah, the concept of making games is something that is being discussed. And unfortunately, I'm out of time. But how to make games, how to make a good game, how to make a small game, that's an entire discussion on its own. I think I should make a video where I'm talking about making games, because that's kind of something a lot of people struggle with, myself included, making and finishing stuff. And I think making smaller things is a good idea. And so this is also something that can help out a lot, MasterPlan, because that helps you plan, and that helps you kind of get something, put pen to paper, instead of keeping your ideas up here, putting it somewhere. Yeah, Lucretia says I need a just chatting stream. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah, and I was thinking about starting my Patreon back up. It's been a couple of years since I turned it off. I could try putting it back up and seeing if people are willing to, support me. And then I also could do more streams. I could maybe do, like you're suggesting, like a just chatting stream every week or something, where we talk about game development and game development concepts and stuff like that. Yeah, it would be fun. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I think that would be something I could do reliably, and I would feel pretty comfortable having with my Patreon, because I had one, but I took it off because I just didn't feel like I was productive enough. But I feel like I can be productive. Rashad Z says, one question before you go, do you accept YouTube donations? Yeah, that's fine. You can donate through YouTube. You can also buy MasterPlan if you want to spend $15. I'd appreciate it, either on itch or Steam, and you can give it to a friend if you already have it. I'm trying to see if there's any other means of donating. Yeah, that's yeah, or you can do like a super chat or a donation through YouTube, I guess. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been very real, as usual. And so I'll have to catch you guys on the flip side next time, and keep an eye out for that news. There's a link to my Discord in the description, and that is where I kind of put news regarding my game development / software development exploits. So catch you guys on the flip side, and thank you very much for stopping by. It's been fun. See ya.